Hello Scorpio, welcome to your weekly reading for week beginning April 12th and 13th. I hope this message finds you well. I'm just trying to think, I think your monthly has already been put up. So check the channel, your monthly practically soulful reading has already been put up. So this is your weekly. Maybe that will marry into the second week of your monthly reading for April, okay? But please know, all time is fluid. Wherever you find yourself on the timeline listening to this message is ultimately the higher intention of all my readings. They are for healing, they are for clarity, confirmation, and you will come across them exactly when you need to. Now, I encourage everyone to explore their natal chart. So obviously, you know, you might be watching this because your sun sign is in Scorpio. At the time of your birth, the sun was in Scorpio. However, you know, other placements are relevant. Your moon sign reflects your emotions and how you handle your emotions, and that might be in a different section of the zodiac altogether. or the sun's ecliptical axis, I should say. Your drive and your energy is your Mars sign, and that might be in another sign altogether. Your Venus sign might be in a specific sign that tells ultimately what your love language is and what you're looking for in a partner. How you deal with manifestation is your Jupiter sign, and that's also how you deal with growth and expansion and whether you accept challenges and change. And you know, it's all very multi-dimensional and very unique for us all. So you are more than just Scorpio, okay? Go and explore. I provide links in the description box below. But let's just check out your weekly theme. Hopefully the fan isn't taking up too much of the sound, but I am sweating. Hopefully we're going to get some rain here. So right before the fall, you know, there's that build-up of steam, and it's like an emotional release, yeah? It's that heat and anger we experience before. So underneath all that, maybe there is just a big cry that needs to be had. Maybe that's relevant for you, Scorpio, my love. Okay, reflection is your theme for the week. Under the light of the full moon, because that is a full moon, if you have a look closer, it's actually cloud covering it. So the recent full moon may have been significant for you. It was a huge one. It was a super full moon in Libra. Was that a week or two ago? You know what it did? The energy of that moon, now I have got a video on the channel about it. That moon particularly showed us contrast in ourselves, in our circumstances, in our life. And you know what? In so many ways, collectively, we are all experiencing contrast given the circumstances we're finding ourselves in, Scorp. And for the most part, this collective experience we're all going through, finding ourselves in isolation, lockdown, is bringing up so much to our awareness that we perhaps distracted ourselves from in many ways, you know, thanks to the requirements of our very busy mainstream eat, sleep, repeat lives. So being at home in isolation, you know, with or without our loved ones, some of us are alone. So if you're not alone, perhaps you are one of the lucky ones. But even when we're finding ourselves at home, you know, with our connections, we're seeing those dynamics in a whole new way. We're meeting and recognizing that we've had needs perhaps we haven't addressed, you know, and it all comes down to accountability, Scorp. So your theme for the week, you are very much in reflection mode, probably have been since that last full moon, yeah, which was a super full moon. I am sensing in very many ways, I'm just wondering if you actually had this. I don't think it was you, it was someone else. I am sensing in very many ways you are feeling perhaps that you are taking a solo journey. You could be in a house full of people. The lone wolf is exactly that. He or she is the lone wolf, feeling alone. But in your reflection, there's going to be some value that comes from what you're going to be communicating about what you're learning about yourself. Because up here, there's a lot of purple, okay, in the cloud, governed by the wisdom of the stars and higher knowing, a lot of third eye chakra stuff, which is ultimately giving us, we're highlighting, thanks to that full moon, we're highlighting our needs, the needs that we might have. Don't mind the nature and the beautiful sounds of the birds in the background. It's beautiful, isn't it? whenever I hear kookaburras, it reminds me of my dad. What was I saying, Scorpio? Enough about me. Under the light of this full moon, you know, you're going to be guided to communicate some inherent stuff you've probably been holding your tongue on or wanting to communicate, or after seeing yourself, your path, your circumstances, your connection, apply it however you want. You're seeing it in a whole new way. A lot of things have been illuminated since the last full moon, and you're wanting to perhaps speak about things, speak your truth, speak up. I do see here for a lot of Scorpios that they're feeling a sense of being on their own though. But what I want to draw your attention to, Scorpio, if you just hold fast, you will see that someone is trying to get your attention. Yes, you can't see them. Maybe you can't even, you can hear them on some level. On some level, their message is coming across to you. But I feel like you're, for the most part, closed off to it. You're walking away, you're not wanting to engage, and that could be for any number of reasons. So I just thought I'd point that out, like that there is someone out there, and if you are a Scorpio that finds yourself alone, and there is someone you can connect to, someone that resonates, speaks your language, if you like, sings your soul song. And for other Scorpios, if we're feeling alone and isolated from our loved ones and physically not communicating very well, okay, is what I want to say, is that they are attempting in their own way. However, I think after a period of reflection, you'll be able to turn around and see them for who they are and what they're trying to tell you. Just because someone communicates differently, Scorpio, doesn't mean that they're not communicating. We all have our own love language. We all have our own ways in which we connect and express our truth, express our love, express our desire for forgiveness, to build bridges and mend bridges, yeah, extend olive branches. We all have our own unique communication styles and love language. Check out your Venus sign. Maybe that's relevant. Let's take a look at what the tarot wants to tell you this week. And I think in many ways, because that wolf, he's wading through water, yeah? So it's not enveloping him, okay? He's not feeling... And as a Scorpio, you're not scared that the depths that your emotions can take you, you know? Like he's just at the beach there, I'm assuming. Standing within a river even. I feel like it's the beach. It looks like a river the way it's flowing in the background there. So what I do want to say, you know, he's not up to his neck in it. He's not overcome, overburdened, feeling overwhelmed by his emotions, her emotions, you know. It's only got his feet in it. But I do want to say, I put a quote up yesterday on my Facebook page, you know, and I do want to draw your attention. Regardless of what's happened between you and another, you and a connection, you and an experience, or whatever has made you feel like you're alone and you're needing reflection time, whatever this full moon has illuminated for you in regards to a unique connection, circumstance, could be with a family member, could be, you know, whatever the case may be, I do want to say we are forever evolving and growing, Scorpio. You know, no man steps back into the river, into the same river, is the quote that I put up on my Facebook page. It's a Greek philosopher from 544 BC. I keep wanting to say Hercules, but it's not Hercules, sorry. So the quote, you know, no man steps back into the same river twice. The water has continually flowed. Situations, us, experiences, we can't necessarily go back to the past and recreate the magic because that has fundamentally shifted and changed. We have, they have, circumstances have. We are in a whole new world in many different ways. Our reality is crumbling before our eyes, and I don't say that in an alarming way. But as human beings, we're so used to the reflective mirror that the world out there and the opinions of others presents to us, you know. We're so used to the reflection, and if the world no longer is, if structures, frameworks, rules, society no longer is, then who am I? It's a whole new world, Scorpio. That's the journey that many of you might be on. It's that deeper thing, you know. love the depths. And so do you. You love going to the depths, you know. You're very at home in your empathic swimming of your deep subconscious and the power of your emotions. They're very transformative for you. Use them, harness them. They want to gift you with something this week, and they're trying to communicate something to you too. But I do want to encourage you to listen even deeper, because I feel like there's a conversation. Someone is trying to reach out, but perhaps if there is a miscommunication, it could be something as simple as we're not seeing things eye to eye, we're speaking different love languages, we're not dealing with our fears in the same way. Because fundamentally, each of us are dealing with this whole global thing in very different ways. It's sparked survival mode in some, it's sparked opportunity in others, it's how we deal with the changing landscape, and when we are standing on shifting ground is different for each of us. How each of us deal with the crises is so very different, Scorpio. We know that, yeah? You might be dealing with a Leo, Sagittarius, or an Aries. You certainly want to feel creative again. I do see you're not accepting something from a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or you are afraid to activate a sense of creative spark, passion, or reignition in something or with someone, okay? Underneath all this, you deeply want to connect to whatever you feel is your ultimate wish. So as you reflect, there's a lot of things you're probably even thinking. You've got new needs, you wish you had have dealt with things differently, or wish things are differently. What crowns you, okay, is the Chariot, and feeling 100% certain about the direction. You are wanting to move forward, okay? So what's this then? Why are you guarded? And this is what I felt like I had to talk about here. Someone perhaps wants to reach out. There's a part of you that wants to reignite some sort of spark. Someone wants to reignite a spark, but you're perhaps blocking them out. You're a little bit afraid to reignite a spark. You're a little bit afraid to show your true self. Now, when I say true self, I know you are not the element of fire. You are the element of water, okay? But the Queen of Wands shows up. She is the divine spark. She's that creative spark, you know, and that is the spark of beginning of anything. It's a reset to a situation, a relationship, an experience. It's a reset, a divine spark within us that gives us this drive and clarity to move forward surely and strongly in whatever the case may be. See, the lady with the swords, she's not budging. She's not budging, okay? And maybe in the last 2 years, you're reflecting on the last 2 years. Maybe the last 2 years has really shaped you and transformed you in some way or another. Excuse me. I dropped a card and I'm trying to work out where that came from. Oh, it came from here. Sorry. Okay. 2 twos, all right? 2 of swords, 2 of coins. Now, what I want to say is you're mastering something here when it comes to what life is teaching you, what others are teaching you, what investment is teaching you, and what fears are teaching you. Now, this might very much tie into your reflective theme, okay? You're mastering something here. If you are feeling quite stuck and closed off, you know, I do want to say that is of purpose. That serves a purpose when we energetically, emotionally, mentally shut down for a little while, because we need that space. You know, empaths, Scorpios, we are, you know, you're so fundamentally aware of the deep need for that reflection and retraction in order to recalibrate, yeah? But like I said, you're not drowning in emotions here. You are in reflection mode of something, okay? But I do want to say this opportunity, and it's going to resonate within you what this is. It might be, I kept feeling like there was a falling out in a connection, family or otherwise, all right? It's taught you something so that you can master perhaps how much you've allowed fear to govern you, govern your steps moving forward, your directions you take, how much of yourself you invest, you know, and that can go both ways, Scorpio, you know. I do want to say, you know, when I'm looking at this card, I talk about it all the time in my work. It is so fundamentally accepted within our whole society that a business relationship is known by the expectations of both parties. We know that if I walk into a shop and I hand over $50, that I by rights, within my rights, to receive a product or a service of equal value, yeah? I can sign a contract for a loan or a mortgage or whatever the case may be, and they're clearly written and stipulates what my rights are and what my responsibilities are, yeah? There's this two-way understanding, okay? But when it comes to our personal relationships, Scorpio, it's very different. Yeah, we are either over-investing, we are letting others take too much, or we are taking too much. It goes both ways. There's an investment that is required here, and I feel like someone is also juggling something in some regard. Someone's wanting something that someone isn't willing to give. Someone's closed off, and in order to open them up, someone's trying to give a little bit more or something to that effect, okay? This also could be your relationship with fear. This could be your relationship with investment, and that could be anything, what you're willing to invest in order to get what you want back. You're assessing and reviewing and reflecting on this bigger picture, this ideal that you want. But this week, in your reflection, something is expected of you in order to get that back, is what I want to say, okay? Because what crowns you is the Ten of Coins. This is the Dynasty card. It's probably the best tarot card you can get in the whole deck when it comes to the minor arcana, more so than the Ten of Cups, because the Ten of Hearts is great. It's emotional fulfillment. And that I can theoretically say is about, based on what is shown to me, what is said and expressed, you know, is a feeling I have within. But emotions are fleeting, yeah? Coins are tangible, and this is not about money. It's about the actions and the doing that someone does to tangibly show that this is my fulfillment. That the 10 is a completion. It's working towards the 10 of Coins. It's a dynasty. It's for the family. It's long-standing, long-lasting principles, beliefs, connections, marriage. It represents so much. But there's an investment that's required of you this week in order to maintain this vision of what it is you ultimately, this is what you want. You want it to be for the family. You want something long-lasting, a job, a project. You're willing to make the investment, though, that I see here, that this week it's about cutting away what's getting in the way. And perhaps it's about not truly listening to something that's being said, or releasing the fears that you have of feeling like you are on your own, because you're not alone, okay, is what I feel like I want to say. You're mastering. And in this mastery, if we break down those two elements, okay, if we master the value of investment versus reward and return, if we master the empowerment we each inherently have to release ourselves from the binds that are ultimately our own creating. If she just drops one sword, she can remove her blindfold and she will see things in a whole new way. And she'll actually be wielding a sword. It's the sword that is required to cut away something here. It's the Ace of Swords, yeah? So she drops a sword and it suddenly turns into the Ace of Swords that she can wield to cut away what's getting in the way of her fears. Getting clarity, because the Ace of Swords is about clarity. That's what you're gaining this week. 2 2s, okay? 22, we're mastering something here. Life is teaching, it's the master teacher. Life is teaching you something, a master lesson. You are mastering a lesson here that's you can ultimately teach others too, is what I want to say. Where it leads you is connecting into this divine fire. This might be a person, yes. You might be learning this lesson with another connection that is reflected by an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. This might ultimately be about you embodying this energy, one again, connecting into your creativity, your sensuality, your divine spark and passion for your purpose and your path, and you're feeling like the Queen of Wands. This is confidence externalized, but internalized, yeah? It's that fire within, to have that fire and passion and spark for the greater vision, so that we feel like we can not just walk forward, but we are galloping forward, Scorpio. You're closing a chapter, and that's perhaps why this reflection mode can almost feel deep. I am recalled now to your monthly reading. It's because you're closing a chapter. The old you, the old way of connecting, the old way of investing, the old fears, they're no longer relevant. They're being outgrown. You're wanting to level up in some way. This is also a graduation card. You're leveling up. Your life, your purpose, your connection, your relationships, your needs in connection, your needs when it comes to investing in what you truly value and getting your wishes fulfilled, how you express communication. Because I feel like someone's tried to offer something here, but you were not having it. It wasn't enough. It wasn't to your level. I feel like I'm speaking word to another reading. I'm hoping it was yours. So obviously this theme is still playing out in some way. Because this was in the past, an offer of love, could have been an apology. This feels like this, what I was saying about you not quite hearing what they're trying to say. And by rights, you know, we are well within our rights to close ourselves off so we can truly reflect and decide what we are going to invest moving forward. But I do see here on a deeper level, Scorpio, you want forward momentum at any cost. And that's what you're weighing up this week. You know that you're closing a chapter. You know that something must level up, graduate, transform into something else because you have transformed. You're assessing the progress of something, and when this shows up I say, okay, it's not quite the 10 of coins, but it's almost there because it's the 7 of coins. Yeah, you're assessing how much you want to invest, but how you finish your reading is the 10 of coins. There's something here that can be worked on, something that they can gain clarity on after a time of reflection, after a time of looking at the whole journey and where I want to go moving forward, because you still want this. You still want that long-term view, that long-term plan. Perhaps it takes a different form, Scorpio, because where our whole world is changing, we are changing, our circumstances are changing, and fundamentally so too are our connections, our needs. I do want to say this week there's something you're not going to budge on, because I feel like I need to push you. Not that I'm going to push you, Scorpio. Don't hold on to something so much so that it actually keeps you back. I want to say don't hold on to something so much. That could be a belief, principle, ideal, old way of looking at things, because we are on shifting sands and life is demanding that we transform from the inside out too, in many ways, to adapt. That is the nature of evolution, yeah? That is the nature of evolution. When the environment changes, the inhabitants must also change. And it can feel like a combustive energy, but if we sit there and do nothing, if we sit there and pretend it's not happening, if we sit there and say, no, I'm not going to change, I'm going to hang on to this, I'm going to hang on to my belief, I'm going to hang on to my way of life, and I'll do anything to make... What if life has created the perfect potion and opportunity for you to really take yourself to this new level? Because these are the only challenge cards, Scorpio. Because everything else here to me is about getting very clear, getting promoted, leveling up, closing a chapter, stepping into a whole new world, but not meekly. You are galloping forward, guided by the light and darkness of the path you have had to date. All the shadow experiences you've ever been through has been of purpose. Nothing has drowned you yet and been too much. So much has been illuminated in your current, the last 2 days, 2 weeks, I'm going to say. The last 2 years have been a gift in many ways, and they've been pushing you to a whole new world. The light and shadow and everything you've learned, you are led by the wisdom of that. You are using it to guide your way forward. And with a clear, empowered will, look at that solar plexus energy that's behind him, it's surrounding him. He's wearing a crown. What kind of king is he? Has he got moon crescents on his shoulders? I've never really analysed the Chariot card. But this is his kingdom. He clearly knows why he's traveling for anything, you know, why he makes any purpose to step forward, because this is the kingdom too. This is the dynasty. This is what the foundations I'm creating and working towards. A whole new world is trying to open up to you. You know this. You inherently feel it. Whatever it is your wish is, you're going to get it. So connect into your emotional state. Connect into what you realistically know. You need to open up and consider, speak about, talk about, see things from a higher way. It's time, when the Ace of Swords shows up as well, it's time to cut the dross because the rewards are so close, you know. This is strong, strong mental clarity this week. Suddenly just knowing. Okay, and that can go either way, but it's going to feel very strong in you. There is so much strength energy here when it comes to clarity of direction, purpose, visions, how you're going to marry old dreams to the new reality, how it's all going to blend, what you're willing to invest, what the main goal is, you know, and then you start going towards that. This is karmically balancing in some way. For all concerned, the scales tip in your favor. So if the last couple of weeks have felt a bit painful, it's because this deep transmutation had to happen, Scorpio. And what I want to say is this, that perhaps wasn't accepted in the past, the Page of Cups graduates into a Knight. So if there was an offer that didn't quite meet your expected levels, because it was too youthful, it was too premature to make an offer, it was... I feel like it's infancy, okay? I had to go deeper in myself first before I could make a new offer. I had to go deeper in myself first to discover if that offer was enough, or before I could communicate and say, you know what, I'm going to counteract that and say it's not going to quite meet my needs because I want it to look like this instead. I feel that's relevant. Someone's trying to offer their cup here, offer their love, and this is about you balancing what needs to be balanced within yourself, reviewing your path today, getting super clear about what your ultimate vision is and how you're traveling forward, you know, on your path and journey. Who is going to be a part of your world moving forward? How has your world shaped and formed you? The Empress shows up. It's the most important woman in your life if you're a man. And if the Empress shows up, this is you as a woman embodying that divine feminine essence, male or female. She is the combination and the culmination of all the queens that have come before her. She is a master manifester, reigniting memories from the past with a significant connection being drawn back into the past about the way things were. There's also a head-heart decision. It's a powerful unit, powerful union. Dealing with emotional loss, okay? With the clarity of mind is yours this week, Scorpio, because you get clear on what it is you want moving forward, what it is you've learned about this, what your new goals and wishes are, what needs to be balanced after your period of review and reflection. It's taught you a lot, your whole life, and after all that is said and done, it was always going to be about this for you. It was always about that. You get a whole new vision and you pave a whole new pathway moving forward. Maybe you even redesign the crest, the family crest, yeah? What do I stand for? What do we stand for moving forward? I just did a Libra weekly and it's a whole new world. I want to sing, but I won't. It's a whole new world. Open up your heart, make the offer, accept the offer. There's an offer coming in, a circumstance, a new way, and it's all this clarity that you're getting to, okay? Life offers you emotional fulfillment if you should only hear it, see it, see it. Turn around, look for it. You will learn a lot in your reflections, but don't get lost in them. Something else is trying to open up and deliver you into a whole new paradigm, really. It's exciting stuff. I hope you found resonance and something of value there. If you did, leave a comment. I am going to do something different with the weekly readings from now on. Those with the most views are going to get uploaded first. So rather than having to wait the whole time, Scorpio, when you like, comment, share, it shows a lot of interaction on the videos. So those videos that have the most views and interaction are going to be delivered first off the mark next week for their weeklies. Okie dokie. So it's not going to start at the top of the zodiac. Alrighty. Lots of love to you this week. Okay. See you next week.